Hello, hello, my friends. It is Jennifer McCollum here, business coach for parent coaches and founder of the Parent Coach Club. And I have the fabulous Oluwatoyin here with me today. Hello.
Hello, Jenny. How are you doing? It's really wonderful having you here today. And for you inviting me to be on your platform, thank you so much.
Well, I'm excited to introduce you to the world because we were talking before I started recording and I'm like, I need that. I need that. I need all the goodness that you have. Today, we were talking about how parents can resolve conflicts in the home with their adolescents. And anyone else going, yes, I need to lean in and listen to this conversation. So Oluwatoyin is a psychologist and a certified family life practitioner. And Oluwatoyin, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into doing this work, how you serve parents, just tell us everything.
Okay, so thank you for the short introduction. So I'm a psychologist, I'm a clinical psychologist, and I'm also a family life practitioner. So what made me go into parenting? Well, so my first child is going to be 18 in a few months' time. My second son is going to be 16 in a few months' time, and my daughter is going to be 12 by August. And while I was preparing to become a parent, while I was preparing to become a mother, I learned about everything that had to do with the physical and spiritual upbringing of my children. But I didn't know anything about the emotional needs of my children and also the emotional need of myself as a parent. So when I had my child, my first son, and when he cries, I'll try to change him, I'll try to feed him, but I didn't understand that my son also had some emotional needs, which I didn't know about and I didn't know how to fulfill. So as usual, the next thing I would do was to shout at him and scream at him and say,
Oluwatoyin, I lost you. You've totally froze. I don't know if you can still hear me, but you are completely frozen.
what is it,
Okay.
by
Oluwatoyin,
myself and all that.
You froze for a little bit there. Oh, you froze again. Can you hear me? Sometimes when you freeze, you can still hear me, but I think we might want to back up a little bit to.
Okay.
All right. You are freezing on and off.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. So
I'm wondering if it's your, we're still recording, but I'll cut this part out.
Okay then. It's my network.
Is it usually kind of glitchy like that?
Once in a while.
Okay.
I'm using a mobile network. So I think when the call comes in, it strips it off.
Okay. So let's back up to, you were just talking about, you had your oldest and you were telling that story. So can you back up to there? I'll cut this part out.
Okay, no problem.
And then we'll start again. So let's just pause for a second, because in the audio, it'll just give me a flat line. I'll know where to start again.
Okay. Okay, so I have my first son and I was prepared for his physical needs, his spiritual need. I'll pray for him, I'll change him, I'll feed him, all that. However, I didn't know about his emotional needs, and I also didn't know how to fulfill these emotional needs. So when my son was crying, when he was a bit naughty, when I say naughty, I just didn't know what to do. So all I could do then was to either shout at him or scream at him. And that was the same method I was using for the younger ones. And I realized that they were all shouting, they were all screaming. And I was like, no, this is not the way I want my home to be. I don't want my house to be the house where everyone will be shouting and screaming. And I went in for counseling, And I realized that there were a lot of things I didn't know about parenting. So I actually went to learn about parenting for myself and for my family. And in the process of learning these things, I realized that there are other parents out there who would need these skills. So I went for certification in parenting education, and that's why I'm a parenting educator today. I help African parents to understand their children, to connect with their children, so that it becomes easier for them to raise these children into well-balanced adults. So that's what I do. I help African parents to connect and understand their children, so that it becomes easier for them to raise these children into well-balanced adults. I provide them with tools and resources. So that's what I do here.
That is wonderful. And I think it is like so fabulous that you do this. I think a lot of people that are listening right now can say, yeah, like I remember getting to that point, or I'm at that point right now, and I need to know how to get rid of this conflict. I don't want to be that parent that yells. So I think this is going to be really valuable for a lot of people listening. And that you are, you serve African parents. Now you're from Nigeria, but you serve parents all over the world. Is that right?
Yes, that's true.
That's wonderful. And you've wrote so many books and you have courses, and we'll get to that at the end. And we'll talk about the book that I know you want to offer our listeners and watchers. So that is exciting. But let's dive into the conflict. Let's get to the root of it. Like, what exactly is the definition of conflict? You talked a little bit about yelling, but what is conflict?
So, okay, so thank you so much. So when we talk about conflict, I would say conflict is a situation where there's either a clash or disagreement in ideas or values or goals or even belief in the home, in the society, at the workplace, anywhere. Conflict arises anywhere. Right now, we have some countries that are in conflict right now, which has escalated or which might escalate into a war. So conflict is any situation where there's a disagreement in values or in ideas or goals or beliefs. And if these conflicts are not handled properly, if you don't have the right tools to resolve this conflict when they start, they might escalate into serious problems. In the homes, we have conflicts between spouses or couples. We have conflicts between the parents and the children. We also have conflicts between children, among siblings. And so for the homes, if the conflict between the husband and the wife is not resolved, it might lead to divorce. If there's conflict between siblings in the home, it might lead to siblings rivalry. And if there's conflict between the parents and the children, and it's not resolved properly, it might lead to rebellion or estrangement. So basically, in a nutshell, I'll just say conflict is any disagreement in terms of ideas, or when there's when there's a clash in ideas or values. That is what I'll term as conflict.
Yeah, that's a great definition of it. And so if we're talking about our adolescents, like what exactly is going on with them why is it that when they get to the adolescent stage, the conflict seems to be accentuated? It's like, it's hard to get away from. Like, what is happening? What is going on with us, with the kids? Can you shed any light on that?
Okay, yes. So one of the reasons why there's a conflict between the parents and the teenagers or adolescents is the fact that the teenager is actually, or the adolescent is actually transitioning from childhood and is becoming an adult, you right? You understand? And however, the parents are still the parents. They've not changed. They're still themselves. They're still the same mommy from yesterday or from last year. But the child is changing. There are a lot of changes going on in the child. Your child is, in terms of the physical development, rapid changes in terms of physical development. There's changes in terms of the way the child is processing information. In terms of his sexual, the child is growing into an adult. So many changes going on with the child, emotionally, physically, cognitively, and sexually. There are a lot of changes going on. And because of these changes, the parents are not changing. The parent still wants to treat that adolescent as a child. And every adolescent have basically 3 emotional needs that every parent needs to know. The need for independence. I want to be my own person. I want to be free from mommy. I want to be free from my siblings. I want to start making my own decisions. The second emotional need is the need to belong. You know, I want to belong to a peer group. I want to associate more with my friends. I want to go and visit my friend. Why do I have to stay in the home? That's another emotional need. Then the need for autonomy. You know, I am different. I want to be known. They're trying to seek their own identity. So these 3 emotional needs, if parents do not allow them to satisfy these needs, it leads to conflict between the parents and the teenager and the adolescent. And because their brain is developing, the prefrontal cortex is developing, they're thinking abstractly. So unlike before, you could tell your child X plus white and white is equals to black, you know, or white, you know, and the child say, oh, yes, it's okay. But now the teenager knows that, no, mommy, after white, there is gray before black, you know, and the child is questioning, the child is asking questions because the child wants to know more. And for parents who do not understand this phase, this developmental phase in the life of their children, they tend to be conflict in the home. So that's why it's very important for any parent that is having a child between the ages of 10 and 21 to change their parenting style. They need 21? To change their parenting style. Sorry? Yeah, 21.
21?
Yeah. Because, you know, adolescent stage starts from 10 all the way to 21. So between that age group, you need to keep tweaking your parenting style. Okay, what am I not getting right? What do I need to learn more about this child? What do I need? What do I have to do to get into the soul, to know more about the child so that you can connect with the child? And if you do not connect with your children, it becomes hard for you to raise them. It becomes hard for you to influence them. That's why it's very important as parents that we try to understand these teenagers. We try to understand where they're coming from, where they're going to, so that it'll be easier for us to connect with them and so that it'll be easier for us to influence them positively.
You know, just how you explained it there, I think that a lot of parents are going to just be able to breathe right now. And like, I just felt my shoulders drop and go, you know what? I'm not alone. This is a normal phase for our adolescents to be going through. And I need to figure out how to connect. So let's dive into some solutions to reduce this conflict. Like, what do we need to be doing right now to create that connection?
Okay, so what do we need to do to resolve this conflict in the home? What do we need to do to ensure that we connect properly with our children? First thing first, like I said, you need to you become a student of your child. What are his or her emotional needs? What do they want? You know, and that's why I tell parents it's good to always ensure that you have an open channel of communication where you keep talking with your children. If there's no channel of communication, it will be very difficult for you to even get to know what they need, what their emotional needs are. So first thing I tell parents, get to know your child. Who is this child? Keep your cool. Don't be in a hurry to react, especially when they try to push boundaries or when they are trying to challenge authorities or they're asking questions and you're like, what is that? Just be cool. First thing is keep your cool, right? Don't be in a hurry to react. Rather, try to understand where they're coming from. No? Try to understand what is really happening here. What need does my child want to fulfill that he's not being able to fulfill? What emotional needs to be met? Very important. The second is for you to identify the root cause of the conflict. Is your child seeking independence? Is the conflict based on values that are clashing? Or could it be due to the fact that your expectation as a parent is not being met? Maybe you've asked your child to do certain things and your child is not doing those things the way you want them to do it. You need to seek the roots. So first thing is to keep your cool. The second thing is for you to identify the root cause of the conflict. Then the third thing you will do is to set appropriate and realistic expectations. This is when you have this conversation with your child. You tell the child, see, I've noticed there's always a disagreement between us. Each time I tell you to do this, is either you're arguing or you're asking me questions. Have that conversation with your child. Sit your child down and try to explain your expectations. These are the things I expect from you. What do you expect from me as your mother? You know, it's very important that we set appropriate and realistic expectations. Then the fourth thing is that you should remember that your child is still your child. Despite the fact that he's growing taller, despite the fact the child is looking bigger, that teenager, that adolescent is still your child and is not a perfect child. He still needs your support. Your child still needs your guidance. However, if there's no connection, there's no way you can guide that child appropriately. So ensure that you have an open channel of communication where your child can always speak with you, where you can speak with your child. If you see your child doing something that is not right, instead of you criticizing the child, instead of you being judgmental, I think it's time for you to speak and, you speak with the child or you correct the child without being judgmental. It's very important. Then the fifth point is that as parents, with you and your spouse need to be on the same page when it comes to discipline and rules. You need to be on the same page with your spouse. It's not that you, the mother, you're thinking towards this direction and the father is thinking towards the other direction. You need to have a unified front when discussing with your children, when you're setting this, when you're setting the rules, when you're setting the boundaries, when you're setting the expectations. You need to be a uniform front. Both of you need to be a uniform front. It's very important. And when they now do things that are outside the expectations, so you've had a meeting with them, you've spoken to them about your expectations, they've spoken to you about your expectations, about their expectations, you've set boundaries for them. What are the consequences when they do not comply? What consequences are you going to set with them? You need to discuss this with them. When you discuss this with them, most times I tell parents, allow logical and natural consequence to take its place. So instead of you shouting and screaming at your child all the time, you've both agreed. If X, Y, Z is not done, A, B, C is the consequence. Once you've agreed, ensure that you are firm and consistent with whatever you agree with. So if you've agreed that if you do not arrange your room, you wouldn't go and have a fun time with your friends and all that, ensure that you are consistent with these consequences and with these consequences. Another thing you need to know is that when you allow the natural and logical consequences to take place, it teaches your children the power of choice and responsibility. It helps them to make better choices in future and makes them to know that they are responsible for certain things in the home. Then another thing that children, especially adolescents, complain about a lot is that parents do not listen to them. So it's very important as parents that we listen to our adolescents. Let's listen to understand, not listen to respond. There are times that children are talking with us and we are so much in a hurry to give them an answer or to respond to them without really understanding what they are saying. So as parents, it's important that we listen more to them. How effective is our communication with them? Because if your communication is not effective, it becomes, I'm a sucker for effective communication. You need to be able to communicate appropriately and effectively with your children. without you having to shout or yell at them. Speak with them with respect. Let them understand that let them know that you love them and you respect them. Listen to them and give them the appropriate response. If you're not clear about what they're saying, ask them questions without being judgmental and without being critical. So that's it. Those are my points on how to resolve.
I'm like frantically writing notes, but I took my Post-it notes and here's what I wrote. Be cool.
Be cool. Yeah, that's the first thing. Yeah.
So if nothing else, be cool, people. So just to like recap, I hope I got these right, but keep your cool. So be cool. I'm going to put this right on my computer. I'm going to put it on the mirrors in the bathroom. I'm going to just put this as reminders for me. Number 2, you said get to the root cause. Number 3, set appropriate expectations. I love that. Like just having that clarity. We do family meetings in our house and just like, what are the expectations here? What are the guidelines? And let's talk about it and come up with solutions together. Number 4 was your child is still your child. Yeah, they still need your guidance. So don't just go, yeah, whatever, do whatever, because that reduces conflict when you just ignore it, right? Number 5 was get on the same page as your spouse or your partner, like be consistent on the same page. Number 6 was listen to understand. Did I get them all?
You did.
I love that. I'm going to put them in the notes too, because I think, if we just keep all of those things in mind, that's going to really reduce the conflict in our homes. So I love that. Tell me next steps. I know you have an ebook that you wanted to offer. Can we talk about that? Because I think a lot of parents listening right now are going to go, yeah, that's me. Yes, I need help. Yes, now I understand it. I know what to do, but I need more. So tell us what more you can offer.
Okay, so I have an ebook. It's called Building the Connection with Your Adolescent, Building Connections with Your Adolescent. And it's just easy to read points, bullet points on what you can do to build connections with your adolescent, different activities you can engage in, different things you can do with your adolescent to build that connection, how you can get to know your adolescent, how does your adolescent respond to the environment, how does your adolescent respond to love, how does your adolescent love to learn. These are points I've written in there.
You're frozen. If you can hear me, let's just wait till you come back.
Ebook, 20 activities that parents can actually do with their adolescents.
Can you hear me?
Please.
You froze again. You froze again right when you're talking about the ebook. So probably about the last minute. Well, maybe 30 seconds. Not good. Okay. Can we pick it up? Yeah, let's just not say anything for a second and then start again with the ebook.
Okay, so the ebook is actually, the title of the ebook is Building Connection with Your Adolescent. And this ebook, it's an easy read for parents. Once you pick it, within 5 to 10 minutes, you're done. And it's in a bullet point form where you get to understand who your adolescent is. You get to understand your adolescent, you get to know how your adolescent responds to environment, how your adolescent responds to love, how your adolescent, what your adolescent loves, what are his interests. Different interests are written in the book, how you can get to know what your adolescent is interested in. Also, I've written over 20 activities you can do with your adolescent to get you connected with your adolescent. So the ebook is easy to read. All you need to do, the link will be posted down this video, and then you can click on it and you get the ebook. Thank you.
That is wonderful. I'm definitely getting that ebook. All right. So other than that, how do people hire you? What do you offer? Do you offer one-to-one support, courses? Tell us about those.
Okay, so I have a website where you can get to know everything about me. My website is titled www.oluwatoyinogunkanmi.com, my full name together.com. And I do one-on-one coaching, I do group coaching, and I also do family coaching, where I coach the parents and the children on how to have a thriving family life. Apart from that, I have books that I've written. I've written about 4 books. I have 2 of them with me here. I've written 4 books, which you can get on Amazon, but the links to the book are on the website. And I also have a Facebook group called Parenting Support System, where every week we have activities, we have videos, we have live sessions on the Facebook group too. So that's how you can get to meet me or get to know more about me online. Then on Instagram, so you can follow me on Instagram, Oluwatoyin Ogunkanmi, one word together.
And just so we spell that right, I'm going to put it in the notes. I know it's right there on the screen as well, but just so we don't misspell that, I'm going to put that, all of the links in the notes for everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I know that you have a very busy practice, so I appreciate that you took this time out to just talk to us about how to resolve these conflicts in the home with our adolescents and what we can do. Like you're not alone, parents out there. Those parents that are, yelling and frustrated right now, I hope this really sheds some light on there is another way. And Oluwatoyin has the answers. So definitely reach out to her, connect with her, grab the free book, join the Facebook group, and then look into the courses and the programs and the coaching that she has, because I know you are making a huge difference in the world. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Jane. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We'll see you again. Take care.